Hey guys, so I don't know how long I haven't made a YouTube video for, but today that is going to change. So right now, we have got all of my rare iOS devices in a line, and we will be going through them and be telling the story of how I got them, showing you what iOS version they're on, and how much I got them for. Okay, so again, I haven't made a video, I think, since 2025, so it's been a year now since the MacBook unboxing, and that was a very low end video because I started Premiere Pro and it wasn't the best. Right, enough waffling, let's get straight to it. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start with the iPhone 2G, moving all the way up to the iPhone 11 Pro. Now, I've done this in iOS order, so I'm going to tell you what iOS version each is on right now. This is on iOS 1.0, 14, 14, 15, 15. I'm not going to tell you exactly what iOS version these ones are on because I can't really remember, except from this one, and that one, but very vague idea. So, let's get started, shall we? Right, so, first of all, let's move on to the iPhone 2G. This iPhone, again, the very first iPhone that Apple ever made, and, as you can see, it is on iOS 1.0, if you couldn't tell by the app layout. This is all that you had, by the way. So yeah, let's get straight into what iOS 1.0 was like. Right, so iOS 1.0. Now, everyone's iPhone looked exactly like this. There was no difference. iOS 1.0 had 16 apps. So 4, 8, 12, 16, exactly. None other than these apps, except if you jailbroke the device, but that came very later on in iOS 1.0 before they patched it. Try to patch it, and you can still jailbreak iOS, 17 now? Right, let's get straight into it. So this device I got for a quote-unquote birthday present off my friend, and it's quite basic, to be honest with you guys. And the battery, I'll get into that quickly. So, iOS 1.0 had very bad battery, I think the battery gauge was horrible on it, so it will say it's dead, but then it will come back to life on 100%. It's not this iPhone. I know Hugh Jeffrey had issues with his iPhone first generation on 1.0, but yeah. So iOS 1.0, very simple iOS, as you can see. You got the settings app, and just to prove it's on 1.0, there we go. You can't even see that quite well because my camera's not focusing. Let me try and zoom in for you guys. Yep, iOS 1.0 right there. So, what could you do on this iOS version? Well, you could send a message, go on the calendar, take a photo, view the photos, transfer the photos to your Mac computer or Windows device. You can watch YouTube, open stocks, go on the maps, find your location with no GPS, by the way. The weather, clock, calculator, that does actually still work. Notes, settings, and then down here you've got the basic phone, mail, Safari, and iPod app. iPod is now what we call Apple Music, but obviously the iPod was still a big hit around 2007, so they just named it iPod because it was an iPod, a phone, an internet communicator, and whatever, a computer all in your pocket. But yeah, so there's nothing really interesting about this other than it's the first ever iPhone Apple ever released. As you can see, this one is a US variant because there is no CC label down here, as like my original other iPhone 2G. Oh my god, holy stutter. My original iPhone 2G did actually have the UK text because it was from the UK. However, this one was imported from China, that came from the US because it was on AT&T. Now, enough waffling about this iPhone 2G because it is quite boring, and let's move on to the iPhone 8 Plus. Okay, so the iPhone 8 Plus. This iPhone 8 Plus, as you can see, isn't even in the best cosmetic condition. It's cracked, as you can see, and it's actually originally supposed to be gold, with obviously the gold remarks still being on the home button. But yeah, so let's get straight into this iPhone, if my camera would like to focus, that is. Right, I'm just going to type in my super secret password, and we're into the iOS. Now, this is an iOS 14, it is still a 64GB variant, if I can show you. Yep, iOS 14.6, and it's 64GB. Again, I haven't turned this thing on in ages, so it's gonna have to have a few hips and, bumps with it. But no, so let's go through what iOS 14 actually introduced. iOS 14 introduced widgets, as you can see right here. The widgets are on here, and it introduced the app library. Now, from iOS 13, this is a massive jump. Obviously, now you've got widgets and a better widgets page over here. That's not open news. And yeah, so it was actually a quite nice iOS version to have. On the iPhone 8 Plus, it's kind of boring because 15 does look the same. 16 changed everything, and 16 was the last for the iPhone 8 Plus. Now, again, I don't use this phone that much. Again, it's only a 64GB variant. And what can you do on 64GB phones nowadays? Quite a lot, but, you know, it's an iPhone 8 Plus at the end of the day. It's quite slow, and it is actually warming up quite a lot in my hands right now. So yeah, there's nothing really important about this device to me. I got it off my friend Dills, big shout out to him. I'll link his channel in the description. But yeah, honestly, as you can tell, mine's, yeah, it's quite battered. As you can see, if I'd actually focus, it's just slightly battered on the back. There you go, you can see now. The front, mint, except from it's got a few LCD damage up here, but you can't tell on camera. In person, obviously, you can tell, but, you know, we move. Okay, right, so now we've done the 8 Plus, let's move on to the iPhone 11 Pro Max over here. Now, this iPhone 11 Pro Max was kind of a restoration progress for me, because I actually got this 11 Pro Max quite shattered up. Now, let me just show you a video of my TikTok. If my camera would like to focus, it did actually have a massive puncture mark in the back of it that did go straight through to the battery. Actually, the battery wasn't even damaged, so let me just zoom in so you guys can actually see what it looked like. If my camera would like to focus again, there we go, quite shattered, as you can see. Again, I did actually replace it with a brand new housing, as you can see. I wouldn't have actually shown it in this video if it was in that condition, but now it looks literally mint. There's nothing wrong with it except it has no working earpiece, and I'll get to that in a second. As you can see, Face ID does actually work on this device. Let me just lower the brightness so you guys can actually see this without messing with my ISO. But here you go. This is also on iOS 14, but this is a very, well, not even a very, it's a really good dip, because I got it in 256 and I only got it for 50 quid. Amazing steal for this. I got that for 70 down there, but it was a present, so technically it wasn't 70. iOS 14.8 and it's 256. Now, the only issue with this is earpiece doesn't work. But Archie, how does Face ID work if your earpiece doesn't work? I actually ripped the only cables, the two cables going to the earpiece, I ripped those off. So the earpiece is still in there, but it just doesn't work, obviously. But no, it's this very nice device. I did actually main this for a day on Christmas Day when I got it. I went back to my 16E after that, but actually no, I went back to the 11 Pro after that. But no, it is honestly a very nice device. If I had to, and if my Pixel 9 did eventually break, I would either go back to the 13 Mini, as you can see, there you guys are. I'm actually using the 13 Mini as a viewfinder, or I would go back to the 11 Pro. So yeah, it is a very nice device. I do enjoy it, and in repairs, I think this only cost me altogether £100. Still not bad for 256 iOS 14 11 Pro Max. I wish it was 13, but you can't wish for everything, right? Now, onto the next phone.
2 hours later.
Right, okay. You guys are probably going to notice a massive time jump. I had to go do something really quick. However, we're back at the video again. So, let's move on to the next device, the yellow iPhone 11. So, this iPhone 11 I got in September for 90 quid off Vinted. This was because my 16E broke, and my nearest phone at that time that I could have mained was a iPhone 7 Plus. Why is it so dirty? It's got adhesive on it. I would have had to main this, so that can just go one. And I brought this as my main for like a temporary thing. Well, I didn't buy it as main, brought it as a secondary because my other iPhone 11 that I don't have any no longer, rest in peace, iOS 18, £15.11. So I brought this off Vinted for £90, and I don't think that was that bad of a deal because it came with a box. It was cracked here, but I replaced the screen with an OEM one. But it has got a deep scratch right there. And I got this new housing that about a week after I ended up denting it right there because stupid me decided, well, it didn't even decide, I fell over onto it. So if you guys can see that nasty gash right about there. Yep, that was because I fell over. But right, let's get straight into this then. So Let me unlock it real quick. Oh, there we go. And this device is currently running iOS 15.3.1. It's a 64 gig replacement battery, replacement screen. But yeah, no, the backstory behind this, had to get it as a new main and a secondary, basically like a backup main. Honestly is a very nice device to have. But yeah, so one of my other rare devices. Now we can get on to the interesting one over here. Now we're getting on to my all-time favourite, my iPhone 11 Pro that I will absolutely baby until the end of time. Now this iPhone 11 Pro is just so special to me, and if you want to know why, let me give you a bit of a backstory behind this device. So, I got this device in 2024 summer, and I got it for free. Oh wait, it's a different password, crap. I got this device for free. Now you're probably wondering, how did I get an iPhone 11 Pro for free? Well, the backstory behind this is my brother's girlfriend gave it to me because I asked, have you got any old phones? And she went, yeah, I've got an iPhone 11. I thought it was one of these guys. And then I asked, have you got any photos of it? And she sent me a photo of it being like with a crack back down here, or here, I low-key forgot where the crack was. It was in the bottom corners, and an absolutely shattered up screen. And I said, I'll take it. And at the time, the Face ID did work, and all the functions worked, except it was just shattered up that much that it wasn't really in the best condition. That number was old, don't worry about it, I'm not leaking my number, but it was just old. No, it was just so bad that there's no point of even repairing it for her. But I decided to take it in and give it my absolute best. So I got a new OEM replacement OLED that I actually discovered was a aftermarket OLED with the glass replaced, so that broke after a couple of months. And I didn't bother with the housing, and I got it a new battery that was actually on 71% health, and I didn't even notice, but a massive upgrade from my 60% battery off one. So yeah, this device is actually running iOS 15.6.1, and it's got everything replaced, including the Face ID. That does not work because my earpiece broke. Behind the story of my earpiece breaking was I lent it to my friend. He gave it back to me and the cables were ripped, so he brought me a new screen that I absolutely am grateful for, because now it is pristine on the front and nearly pristine on the back, except for a few scuffs of when I got this housing and I went for a driving lesson and I dropped it out the car and it slid down the road. Very sad story behind how I actually ended up shipping the camera lens up there. So if you wanted to know why there was like no video there, it's because my stupid camera decided not to focus, and it was about 30 seconds of me trying to make it focus before giving up. So enjoy the dancing pigeon again. I don't even know anymore, but I'm so sick of my camera not focusing. So yeah, very nice device. It still works perfectly fine. I actually use this for one reason and one reason only. NX bus ticketing. Yeah, that's my college bus pass, and there is no way of me transferring that to another device. Thank you, NX Bus. Please make your policies unlimited. Right. Anyway. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This will probably be out in 2 years. By then I will not have any of these except from this and this and this. These two will probably go missing. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. I appreciate it. I know there's going to be like one view, and that's probably from Dills or someone else in my friend group. I don't know, but thank you for watching my video, and I guess I'll make some more videos because I haven't made any since 2025, and it's 2026, and I'm leaving college probably, so yeah. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video.